If you don't know what to sell online in 2025, I'm going to break down exactly what products you should sell, where you should sell your products online, and what customers you should sell to get the highest returns. I've made over $1 million selling online and spent years learning from some of the biggest e-commerce companies to find out what makes people click, what makes them add your product to their cart, and ultimately how to convert them into a paying customer. Now, the first step, most of you would think it's picking a product. But before we can find out what to sell, we have to find the right customer. And the right customer today is wealthy. Yes, I would target wealthy people if I was starting to sell online today. Now, why is that? Think about this. Let's say you're selling lawn care services. Would you want to offer lawn care services to people who are behind on their rent? Or do you want to offer lawn care services to the wealthy estate owner who will pay more for great, reliable service and a great result? Exactly. We want to sell to people who has stable, consistent spending habits and who values their time more than money. So who are these people and how do I find them? I would look at people who still spend money at places like Madewell, Anthropologie, Sephora, Restoration Hardware, CB2, Brooklinen, Sub-Zero, Apple, Sonos, Whole Foods, Butcher Box, Equinox, Peloton, The Four Seasons, Love Every, Pottery Barn Kids, Tesla, also whoever has an Amex Black Card. So you want to think of this person in your mind and create an in-depth customer avatar. Even give her a name. Spell out where she spends her time and her money and identify who else is in her life. Now, the reason we're looking at where she already spends her time and money is because this is proof of concept that this customer is willing to spend money on this area of their life. We don't have to convince them to spend money on that area of their life. They already are. Now, it just means that you want to become their first choice. Now, having a wealthy customer avatar is great, but this will never become a business if you don't know what to sell them. So now we need to choose our products. Instead of going to a product that I think they might like, I look to some proof of concept areas. Let's make 2 columns on a sheet of paper, and one column will say time. Where do they spend their time? Okay, they're probably working, they might be driving, they might be flying first class, they might be standing in line at Whole Foods, they might be at their kids' expensive sports and activities like golf, cheer, and dance. They might be in their Pilates class or going boating, maybe going to brunch, and maybe hosting events. Now, in the second column, where do they spend their money, right? We're going to list their kids, the gifts for their teachers, for their kids' friends. Maybe they spend money on their apparel and their appearance, maybe fresh home decor, or their parents, or maybe their grandparents, maybe products that really add convenience to their lives that help them save time or make money. You have many product categories that you could sell this customer, and you could serve them in a combination of categories, which is what I have actually seen to be the most lucrative. Let me give you my secret insights on these categories. First, let's talk about digital. I have made millions and millions of dollars on digital products. This is something that you are going to make once and then sell it over and over and over. Now, the key here is that if this digital product is not highly functional and something that helps people save time, make money, or save money, or solve a pain point, then you better be a dang good designer, okay? And if you aren't a great designer, if you have no graphic design skills, then your digital products better be extremely functional. So I'm talking about spreadsheets, online courses, templates, websites, printable activities. Now, to maintain competitive advantages with digital products, you need to make updates to this. So it is not a set it and forget it thing. PTA flyers, financial spreadsheets, blog templates, and caregiver checklists. These are all things that I've seen do really, really well among my client base. All right, the second category is print on demand or using production partners. Now, this will likely be your lowest gross margin option, which means it will require the highest volume in revenue to hit your financial goals. Print on demand also really limits the ways in which you can compete. So when you're selling to wealthy customers, because they value quality and speed of delivery, to compete with print on demand, it's going to be with your actual designs. And this means your designs have to be attractive and compelling. So this could be like a really cute comfort colors oversized sweatshirt. And if you have seen my videos on what is trending on Etsy this year, you will remember back prints are everything right now. However, the color scheme, the font, the text itself, your copy has to be a great design. Otherwise, it's not going to hit with that premium customer. Now let's talk about the next category, handmade products. This is where there are the most ways to compete. Number one, we want to look to super expensive things that rich people would invest in. And then we're going to create our own version of that while sourcing a partially made product and then finishing it or altering it. And the highest margin opportunity comes when this is customizable. This is also a very scalable strategy when it comes to outsourcing. So this would be, for example, like bedding. So you could literally be buying something that they spend a lot of money on, mostly finished. Let's say it's a quilt, and then you are altering it or completing it. Maybe you are adding a beautiful pom-pom trim. Maybe you're adding embroidery to it. And suddenly you are putting that little bit of sweat equity in to now charge a premium for something that is customized that they're already used to spending a lot of money on. Okay, that's just one example. The next category for selling online is reselling. Now, this is where your resourcefulness, your relationship building, and your negotiating skills will help you win. So this is where you're simply buying products and reselling them. Yes, you can do this on platforms like Etsy, by the way. And for this customer, you would want to look at what is trending for them and then source suppliers who could do unique versions of it at a better cost and maybe even slightly higher quality material. So this would be like a couple years ago, Stanley tumbler accessories were trending. While then you would go to a supplier and get a special makeup. Maybe it's a special colorway or a special material in that product that you have exclusivity with. Now, there are only certain categories you can do reselling on certain platforms, so you always want to pay attention to the platform rules. And sometimes it will fit into a sourced by a seller category. So we just want to pay attention to that. All right, the last thing that you can sell online is one of my favorites, and this is services. Now, this does require a trade of time for money, and this is not scalable unless you hire subcontractors. However, you can absolutely win here with skill, with speed of delivery, and with effectiveness of the outcome that you're selling. Targeting the right profitable customers with services means that if you are really, really, really good, you can have just a few customers and serve them with a high hourly rate. Now, with all of these categories, you can also combine them strategically to serve this premium customer in more ways. If you have the perfect customer and product category identified, this all could still collapse if you don't sell on the right platform. You need to choose the platform based on the outcome you're looking for. I'm going to give you the different outcomes of these platforms. Let's say your desired outcome is speed of growth. You want to grow really, really fast. Then I would focus on Etsy, TikTok Shop, and Amazon. Now, why is that? Etsy, because it has the most profitable customers and the cheapest customer acquisition cost. TikTok Shop has the potential for virality, even though the future of the platform for the US might be a little unpredictable. And then Amazon. Amazon is just good for brand growth as another channel. The customers, not as profitable as Etsy customers. Your margin will be much lower on Amazon. However, it is one other platform to present your brand to a mass of customers. Now, let's say your desired outcome is profitability and security. Then what I would recommend is selling through your own website, because that has the fewest outside variables. And so even if you grow 100 times slower, there are typically fewer fees. And, unless you get hacked, your website will not get shut down. If your desired outcome is to exit your brand, then I would recommend that you get onto Amazon, Shopify, or your own website, and Faire. Amazon, because it helps grow the audience and the account will transfer when the business sells. Shopify, I'd recommend because it is the simplest website model with really great plugins and apps. And then Faire, why would I recommend Faire? It's really to expand the wholesale the fastest, which will make your business much more valuable. If your desired outcome is to have a course or coaching business where it's digital and service-based, then you'll want to consider Kajabi, School, or Circle. You'll choose one of those. And I would also use Etsy as top of funnel because those customers are so profitable and it's one of the fastest ways to grow your brand. And then you'll host the services and the digital product on Kajabi, School, or Circle. Now, Kajabi is where I started. It was perfect because it did my website, did all of my email email marketing, all of my funnel building. It hosted my podcast, and it hosted my course and community. And it also has great checkout pages and landing pages or opt-in pages that are pretty customizable. Teachable is another type of marketplace. However, I actually think it's better not to place yourself near low ticket competition where people are searching and sorting based on price. I actually wouldn't recommend doing that specifically for courses and coaching. And if you're looking at things like Upwork or Fiverr, I would recommend Upwork over Fiverr just due to the reputation and the associations with that brand. Okay, now if you are looking for a way to get started on the Etsy platform with only a few $100s to spend, I actually have an entire video breaking that down here. So definitely go check it out.